It was a lonely old quarry, deep in the heart of San Antonio, located just off Interstate 35 near Thousand Oaks and Wurzbach Parkway. It was called the Longhorn Quarry, and it served South Texas for many years. After the quarry was abandoned, it sat unused for a long time. And that's when local builder and developer Gordon Hartman had a vision.
It's a vision to build a park for his daughter and all kids who have special needs. And it's also a park of inclusion. While it was designed with certain people in mind, it is for everyone. Most parks design their spaces, then try to figure out ways to accommodate people with special needs and disabilities. But this ended up being a different park, a place for all, but with special needs kids in mind. A park called Morgan's Wonderland. This is a story of a father's love for his daughter and a family's thanks to a daughter who provides them with so much joy, inspiration, and unconditional love. So just what is Morgan's Wonderland, and who is Morgan Hartman? Let's ask her father, Gordon.
I've lived in San Antonio all my life and really love this city. Love a lot of what it has to offer, and grew up, went to a high school seminary, and quickly got into business at the age of 19, built my first home. And after 22 years in the business, one which I loved very much, I had the opportunity to sell the company about 5 years ago, which gave me an opportunity to look at what I might do in the second half of my life, which was to get involved in helping children and adults who have special needs. Where that love comes from is because I have a daughter, Morgan, who is 16, who has special needs, who is really an inspiration to me and has taught me so much about life in general.
So why was there even a need for a Morgan's Wonderland, a special park for special kids? Well, consider this. Just take a look at any local park. Look at all the kids swinging, running, playing. Where are the swings that can accommodate a wheelchair? What about a merry-go-round for kids who can't walk? The feeling of helplessness is too much to bear.
A typical park for a normal parent is a place to go and sit down in the shade and watch their kids play.
Right.
For a special needs parent is 3 minutes because that's all you can handle.
I don't know if they're gonna have it or not, but a swing so he can park his wheelchair on there and swing on it, just like a regular swing. It would make me really happy because then I know that, you know, he's met one of the things that he's always wanted to do. And just a simple little thing as swinging on a swing.
Morgan and I had an experience about 3.5 years ago where she and I were swimming in a pool at a hotel, and I got out and I watched her, and she wanted to go and play ball with some children who were in the pool. And Morgan continued to try to get closer and closer to them, and as they saw Morgan and knew that she was not communicating with them in a normal fashion, it wasn't because they were mean, but it was because they didn't know how to interact. And I thought to myself, if we could build a park where children and adults and everybody in the community could all come together and learn and play together, we'd open up some real doors and some real opportunities so that experiences like that would become less and less.
It was then that the Gordon Hartman Family Foundation gained an additional goal and put more effort into creating this Wonderland.
We started the foundation about 3.5 years ago, and it involved in quite a few different things, giving grants, working with nonprofits to become larger, getting out information concerning the special needs community here in San Antonio, and also working on special events. One of those special events or activities that we've been very involved in is building Morgan's Wonderland, which is the first ultra-accessible family fun park to ever be built in the world. We're very proud of this and proud of the hundreds of people who have come together in San Antonio and around this region, around this country, to work with us in developing this project.
The plan was to build the world's first ultra-accessible family fun park. Ultra-accessible is a design philosophy that requires every feature in a recreational area to be completely accessible to all individuals with special needs, especially those in wheelchairs. This design philosophy would create enormous hurdles and give the dream team of designers and architects a huge mountain to climb. But that's just what they set out to do. It all started with a dream, and the next step was to find a way to make it all happen, to find a way to pay for the dream. And that's where the Hartman Family Foundation got to work. The foundation's initial funding of $10 million came from Gordon Hartman himself. This initial funding was to help out all over Bexar County, but a few years later, Gordon put in $1 million exclusively for the creation of Morgan's Wonderland. But with Gordon's background in development and construction, he knew much more money was needed to build the dream the Hartmans had envisioned. So after receiving help from the city, the county, and local fundraisers, the Hartman Foundation had the funds needed to build a first-class park.
We were simply a spark to start the process, and since then so much more has happened, and this has grown to be much bigger because of willingness of people to say, yeah, we need to join in that effort, because we know that if children and adults who have special needs are given more opportunity, that there's more opportunity for everybody in the community from that. And if we can express that here in San Antonio, in our hometown, that we can see that fire grow, if you will, throughout Texas, throughout the country, and ultimately throughout the world.
As with any good plan, obstacles pop up along the way as the team prepares to build Morgan's Wonderland. While most parks have restrictions as to who can ride based on height and wheelchair accessibility, the Wonderland Dream Team needed to find a way to eliminate all restrictions. No individual could be turned away due to restrictions. All people should be able to enjoy the rides freely and without prejudice. With that in mind, the team had to custom design all rides to allow for someone confined to a wheelchair to be able to enjoy the experience.
Morgan's Wonderland is built with safety, number one. And the reason for that is because very early in this process, we had forums to try to understand what people wanted to put in a park like this. The number one thing that we heard from people is, give me a safe place for my family and for everyone that comes to the park, so that those who have special needs will have a comfort level as to where they are at all times, and know that if they get away from us, that they stay within the area of the park itself. And so that everyone who comes to the park gets a bracelet. That bracelet matches the signal with all the other people that come in that party. So at any time you can go up to a screen within the park, scan your RFID chip, and it will show you within a map of the park where everybody else is in the park. And so that allows people a sense of safety and of well-being while they're in the park. Many times those who have special needs, children, will be what we refer to as runners. People who will run and sometimes are hard to catch up with, or they hide. If they do that, this technology allows for you to find that person very quickly. Another thing that we've done is just every aspect of the park, between the carousel ride and the train ride, everything that has been built has been thought about. The edges and the cuts and the way in which all the fencing is done, and all that has been looked at very closely to ensure that safety is number one.
Safety was the biggest issue, but that was only one. Ideas were needed to build a design that every special needs child could enjoy. With the funding complete, the ideas were pouring in, and the site was being prepared. Nestled right along Wurzbach Parkway and Thousand Oaks Drive, the old Longhorn Quarry was the perfect site for a one-of-a-kind 25-acre theme park in San Antonio. As construction began, the project would require a lot of research and a lot of fresh ideas.
What we did is we continued to develop something that would be unique, something that would make this a magical place for kids. We wanted to make this a wonderful park. We wanted to make Morgan's Wonderland stand out from anything else around. Even though you have elements that may be seen in some of the larger theme parks around the country, we wanted to individualize this. So we wanted to make it a place that was magical for these kids, that they could relate to, and that parents could also get a sense of the amount of detail that we put into the park, not just for the kids themselves, but for the whole family. The family to experience something that they may not be able to experience somewhere else. And we wanted to make this a wonderful place to be.
What's exciting about this project is there's no template. There's no recipe, it's brand new territory, so every day is an adventure.
The rush of architects and designers with new ideas led to the park growing larger and larger every day. All the pieces were coming together, and workers began moving the earth and laying the foundation. The park was beginning to take shape, and very quickly, as the first buildings went up,